Hello, sound check. If you can hear me, please just raise your hand briefly. Good afternoon, everyone. Right, thank you. Thank you for the responses. So I'm audible. Great. So I want to welcome you most sincerely to the 5th year anniversary webinar of Philips HMO. I'll be your anchor for today, and I am Dr. Foluke Olani George. Most people call me Dr. Folu, and I'm the head of health services of Philips HMO. It's a great pleasure for me to do this webinar, and I sincerely believe that it is going to be time well spent. Philips HMO has indeed developed a culture of bringing topical, relevant information to the public, even through our webinars. We have had series of webinars prior to this time. And for those who have attended, I'm sure you can verify what I'm saying. So once again, I bid you a warm welcome. We will have more information about the topic and the speaker as we proceed. But for now, I would like us to commence with giving honor to our nation, and we will very quickly take the national anthem. I don't know whether to say the old or the new, but you know which one I'm talking about. Thank you very much. The national anthem.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is with great joy that I welcome you all to this webinar by Philips HMO tagged Taking Charge of Your Health. And the fact that you are here this afternoon shows that we all have a shared commitment towards the promotion of our well-being. Thing is, with the fast-paced world that we are in today, it's very easy to place our well-being and our health on the back burner. Yes, yet as we navigate everyday's challenges and opportunities, our well-being is our most valuable asset. We all know the adage that says that health is wealth, and that is why we've put this program together so that we can embark on a journey to explore strategies and insights for the promotion of our health and well-being. And this webinar is going to inspire conversations around practical solutions and being able to adapt lifestyle choices and that will help in the promotion of our health. So let's use this opportunity to listen to our distinguished speaker and also to learn from one another. Please engage, ask questions, if need be, share experiences so that we can all put our hands together, have a wonderful time. And this will now all go well for our health, and not just for us, but for the people around us, our families, and our community. So once again, thank you. I welcome you all. Let's all take charge of our health and inspire a better world for all. Thank you. Have a wonderful time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Eze, um, for that welcome address. Yes, our health is our wealth. Everybody should know that. But it's a lot about um, what we do with that information. So, right, very quickly, we want Philips HMO really puts a lot of premium by some core values, and one of them is promptness. Philips HMO does not encourage tardiness to events, and we want to reward those who joined for this webinar earliest, the early birds. We're going to give something, a little token to them. And I'm sure that this will make you come early to other events in the future. Uh, Many of us have lost the culture of timeliness and promptness to attend events. And Philips HMO is trying to encourage, those who made it to this event in a very timely fashion. So we're going to list out their names and celebrate them. And then we're going to take them, into the DMs to give them their little reward. So can I have the list of names of those who joined this webinar first via Teams and the other platforms that are being used as well? Can we have their names, please, so that we can celebrate them in our own little Philips HMO way? Thank you. The list of names of those who joined first on the teams first. Can I have the names, please? Okay, it looks like the names are coming up. Uh-oh, okay. We have a little delay in that. Hello? Okay, there's interference. I think, okay, let's pend this. Let's pend the giveaway, but please do know that we are going to reward all those who joined earliest on Teams and also on YouTube. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is to have a brief story of the journey of Philips HMO thus far. Okay, so come with us and listen to where we started, where we are, and where we hope to be in the nearest future. Thank you.
Within the first 5 years of our existence, we have actually lived up to our expectation in terms of our vision and our mission statements. We've been able to make healthcare available for everyone at affordable rates. We have actually also moved from being a zonal licensee to become a national licensee. Because that is massive. Initially, we were constricted to only Southwest, but now we operate the entire Nigerian space. And of course, we have actually improved significantly our revenue base. I mean, we moved our revenue base, we grew by about 370% over the last 3 years. For me, that is quite massive. In terms of our strategies, what we need to put in place, of course, massively we put in place a solid IT infrastructure. Without that, of course, you can't do more in terms of number of enrollees we have. So we invested massively in our IT platform, and of course, we ensure that we comply as much as possible as corporate citizens, that we don't run foul of any law or regulation of the country. Of course, we internalize our operational processes so that things can be done easily. We have the call center, whereby enrollees care and issues are taken care of as and when due. Hopefully, we'll be the top, the very best HMO in the system. And I believe that this company is going to be much more prosperous and remain vibrant as we move on.
It's been 5 amazing years of delivering excellent services to our clients. One of the unique things that make us stand out in the industry is that we provide roaming services to our clients, we provide telemedicine services, we have a 24/7 call center that are ready to attend to our release needs. We also provide pharmacy bank benefit services. And looking back to why I joined Philips HMO, here at Philips HMO, we have an amazing work culture which speaks to our core values. We have great customer focus, we are responsive, we are reliable, we have good work ethics, and we are tenacious people. Philips HMO always there for you.
It's been 5 years of excellent service delivered to our esteemed clients. We make ourselves a one-stop shop solution to all your healthcare needs, and that is why Philips HMO, we as customer-centric, we do not joke with our clients. Our tenacity in the industry helped Philips HMO the best in class quality HMO of the year, organized by National Brand Summit in 2022. And in 2023, Philips HMO was awarded the Outstanding Private Health Maintenance Organization of the Year by Marketing Edge. Coming into the HMO industry was a bit challenging at first for us, but we strategically positioned ourselves at Philips HMO to be able to penetrate the market in order for us to have a larger share in the industry. And with time, we were able to penetrate the market through our IT infrastructure that we put in place to drive the process of managed healthcare. And with that, we were able to achieve a lot in the space of 5 years.
Health has become a fundamental human right and is affirmed by the 1978 Declaration of Alma Ata by WHO. And that declaration expects that our government should ensure that the populace have access to quality health care. But of course, we know government cannot do everything. And of course, in Nigeria, we're also aware that the healthcare system is defective and actually has several challenges and gaps. So Philips HMO actually was incorporated on the 9th of April 2019 to contribute to solving this problem of poor access to quality healthcare. We came up with a vision to make healthcare actually available for everyone, and we have a mission to deliver healthcare that works for you. Now, since then, we started modestly in July with 6 staff that started operations. But from that modest beginning, we've grown to be a national HMO and a profitable organization accredited by the National Education Authority. And we have now staff across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, delivering value to our clients. Many clients are trusting us now, and we are growing. Actually, we are growing to become a household name in healthcare, finance, and management in Nigeria. We have partnership with several providers that we work with, both locally and internationally. And of course, the clients that are trusting us are many, and the number is still counting, over 160 clients across various sectors. We have partners. The 50th anniversary is very important to us. It means a lot to us because it actually resonates, or I will say, it symbolizes 5 years of redefining quality healthcare, which Philips HMO stands for. And this is why we say thank you that you have been with us through this journey. I will continue to promise you that we will deliver a service that works for you.
Philips HMO.
Always there for you.
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 Always there.
Always there for you.
Philips HMO, always there for you.
Thank you so much for that brief on the journey so far. We can see how we started from identifying a vacuum or a gap in the system, and how Philips HMO rose to the occasion to fill it up, and the opportunities, the challenges, the players, you know, and at the end of the day, it's just a wonderful story put together. It's more or less a very touching one for me from my personal perspective, and I'm sure that you can also appreciate the the amount of hard work that must have gone into making Philips HMO a viable concern even 5 years down the line. So thank you once more for joining. And like Dr. Eze did say, you're in for a great time today because we have a topic that has been picked specially for you, and it's taking charge of your health. And the speaker for today is we believe is the most appropriate person in Nigeria today to be able to speak on the subject of taking charge of your health. We're moving very quickly because of our time. Uh, we will be listening right away to Mr. Abayomi Olabi, who is the head of BD, and he will be speaking on the services that are provided by Philips HMO, especially for those who are not aware. So, Mr. Abayomi, you have the floor.
Very much, Dr. Tolu. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Abayomi Olabi, Team Lead, Business Development Department, Philips HMO. I'll be taking us through our services. Nigeria's healthcare system is generally seen to be challenged and ineffective. There are obvious gaps in the industry. The research we carried out revealed that the following gaps exist among others in the healthcare delivery value chain, and these do affect the quality of healthcare your employees and families received. So we carried out a need analysis before we came into the industry, and were able to identify 6 key challenges in the industry. 1, delay in accessing care at the hospital, delay provider payment, delay in enrollee registration, delay in delivering ID card, inability to access or reach your HMO, lack of trust and quality care as they really are not aware of their benefits and are denied cover benefits. At Philips HMO, we identified these gaps and have strategically positioned ourselves in coming to the market with solutions to address these challenges, making it different via a huge investment in IT infrastructure, trained and competent workforce, and process re-engineering. We have also put the health of your employees back into their hands via our mobile application and robust software. Your employees are empowered to take control of their health through our mobile app. Our services: private health insurance plans, which comprises of our corporate and SME, school health plans, secondary and primary and pre-primary school, tertiary institution social health insurance program known as TSHIP, social health insurance plans under the NHI High A, third-party health administration plans, which is known as TPA, medical screenings, which comprises of pre-employment, food handler tests, and preschool screening plans, international health insurance and evacuation plans, worksite clinic management services, community-based social health insurance program, Philips HMO retail products for individual and families, state health insurance program. Currently, we have partnership with Lagos State, known as LASHMA, customized plan to meet specific needs and budget of our clients. Our additional services includes pharmacy benefits administration with direct supply of prescribed drugs to your office and location. So for our clients who are on monthly routine drugs, we deliver their drugs to them, either at their office or any of the location they prefer. We also do roaming, so we don't tie our client to a particular hospital. Once you are not satisfied with care received at hospital XYZ, you can easily port to another hospital within the band of your hospital that you can access. We also do periodic aerobic session for all our clients. Wide range of innovative products, of which I've mentioned earlier on. We also do rebates on lower utilization for our clients. So at renewal, we do rebate for anyone who's any company that has a very low rate utilization. We also have fee for service. This affords the hospital to do more, to carry out more investigations on our enrollees. Personalized account officer will be assigned to your account when you come on board. We have what we call employee assistance program, which we offer all our clients without any additional premium, because we believe that if your staff are mentally okay, then they will be able to perform optimally. So it's basically designed to help your staff to be productive in their endeavors. So some of the clients we currently service includes Techno, Korea Plus, GG, Redeemed Christian Church of God. We also have MTN. We have ZT, we have Philips Outsourcing, which is a brand company. You can reach us on our call center line 24 hours. You can also reach us on our WhatsApp. You can also reach us via email, care@philipshmo.net. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Bayomi. Thank you for that brief on the services that are available and offered by Philips HMO. Now I have a duty, an assignment that is a really big assignment, but I'm going to do my best to deliver because it's to give the citation or to read the citation of our guest speaker for today. And remember, I said that in Nigeria today, Philips HMO believes that there is no other person more appropriate to deliver this lecture. I'll be reading the citation of Dr. Moyosore Makinde. She's a consultant family physician and a leading lifestyle medicine physician in Africa with certification from the International Board of Lifestyle Medicine. She's a fellow of the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria and the West African College of Physicians. She wears many hats, serving as the president of the Society of Lifestyle Medicine of Nigeria and a distinguished member of the World Sleep Society and World Organization of Family Doctors. She is the head of the Lifestyle and Wellness Unit, Department of Family Medicine, LASUT, that's the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital. Additionally, she is the visionary founder of the NGO Lifestyle Champions International Foundation. Through this foundation, Dr. Makinde is building a vibrant community dedicated to advocating for healthy lifestyle choices with a focus on preventing lifestyle-related diseases. A respected authority in her field, Dr. Makinde is a highly sought after speaker who passionately advocates for the evidence based approaches that improve health and wellness. She has lent her voice to numerous governmental and non governmental organizations and medical associations championing the cause of healthier living and disease prevention. Affectionately known as Dr. Ore, she is committed to helping professionals achieve better sleep quality with her personalized coaching and has authored the Ultimate Sleep Coaching Guide to further this cause. She is on a mission to transform lives one night at a time. Her goal is to empower individuals to experience refreshing sleep every night while also addressing broader wellness concerns such as women's health, chronic disease prevention and management, and mental wellness. Through her advocacy for lifestyle medicine principles and the promotion of healthy living, Dr. Makinde is revolutionizing our approach to healthcare. She firmly believes in empowering individuals to take charge of their health through lifestyle interventions, thereby reducing the reliance on a pill for every ailment. Beyond her professional endeavors, Dr. Makinde enjoys hobbies such as reading, writing, and singing. She has co authored the book Living Boldly and is a recording artist with albums like Unchanging Changer and Not Alone. Her diverse interests underscore her commitment to enriching lives through health and wellness. Um, I bring you with all sense of humility, and it's a distinct honor for me to welcome Dr. Moyosore Makinde, President Society of Lifestyle Medicine of Nigeria, Solon, for the webinar today. Dr. Makinde, you are most welcome. You have the floor.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lani George. Can you hear me?
Yes, you are audible.
All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I want to appreciate Philips HMO for giving me this unique opportunity to talk about my passion and what I believe is going to help you to make a deliberate choice to improve your lifestyle and your wellness. So I look forward to engaging with us during these few minutes that we have together. And I want to say well done to this organization. You are doing a Herculean job. Thank you for filling in the gaps. Thank you for the great work that you're doing, and do keep it up. So I'm going to be sharing my screen now. Um, okay. Can we see my screen?
Yes, please.
All right. So I'm going to start. It's still clear, right?
Yes, it is.
All right. Okay, so our topic this afternoon is taking charge of your health. And I'm sure that this is not something new for many of us. But the question I wanted to ask yourself, after listening to today's discussion is, am I taking charge of my health the way I ought? So it's time to ask yourself some crucial questions and see how you can embrace strategies for health, wellness, and longevity so that you can fulfill your purpose in life. So our objectives will be to have an overview of health and wellness. We'll look at the root causes of disease, and then we're going to discuss the strategies for adopting healthy lifestyle habits. And in that way, we'll be able to look at how we can prevent lifestyle related diseases. So, this is something that may be new to you if you're in the room this afternoon. Did you know that the world's biggest killer is non communicable disease? And in case you're wondering, what are non communicable diseases? They are known as diseases that you cannot easily transmit from one person to the other. They are called chronic diseases or lifestyle related diseases, and they consist of diseases such as hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol levels, and I'll mention a few more later. But the important thing we need to note here is that non communicable diseases are the leading cause of death all over the world. And in the year 2020, WHO actually put it out there that ischemic heart disease is the world's biggest killer, forming about 16% of all deaths. Very closely after ischemic heart disease, we have other things like type 2 diabetes. I'll be looking at more as we go along. Now, many of us understand what health is. The definition of health goes back to the year 1948 when WHO said that health is not just the absence, of illness or disease, but it is physical, mental, and social well-being. And now we're even bringing in other paradigms like financial well-being. We're talking about spiritual well-being. All these things are important because they help us to address our health in a holistic manner. But I need us to know that health and wellness are not necessarily the same. And some people think that they will be healthy automatically, but it's not automatic. And that's why we're having this discussion this evening. So, what is wellness? Wellness is defined as the quality or the state of being healthy in mind and body as a result of deliberate effort. I'm putting emphasis on deliberate effort because that's what makes the difference between wellness and health. Health means that you're in that ideal state. But how do you achieve the ideal state? It doesn't happen automatically. You must be deliberate. There's something intentional that you are doing. You don't wake up and become a lawyer. You don't wake up and become a doctor or become a businessman or pass an exam. There are some steps that you take in order to achieve that goal. And that's the same thing with your health, the same thing with your fitness, your mind. Now, still driving it home, non-communicable diseases account for 71% of deaths globally. And you can see the four major categories highlighted here: cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, chronic respiratory diseases, Cancers, these are non-communicable diseases. Now, not all cancers, are non-communicable. They are all non-communicable, but not all are caused by our lifestyle, but many of them are triggered, by our lifestyle, as we'll get to see. And this one shows us the increase that we are seeing in the numbers of people who are dying from these diseases. So you can see that in the year 2000, the people that died from ischemic heart disease, according to WHO, was 6.8, and that increased to 8.9. And the same thing for stroke. You can see that the incidence of stroke has increased. So from 5.5 to 6.2. Even respiratory tract infections, chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, neonatal conditions, even dementias. And you wonder why this is happening, because we have all the technology, we have new medication, we have a lot of interventions that should help us to live healthy, right? So what is making the difference? Why are more people dying? So this is just more information to drive it home. The number of deaths by cause, the top 10 causes of disease, you can see that they are mostly lifestyle related. And these are the common chronic illnesses that we have. Pre-hypertension, hypertension. So some people are not hypertensive, but they are already pre-hypertensive. That means you might not be living with hypertension right now, but in 1 or 2 years' time, your doctor might tell you that you have hypertension. And that's why you need to take note of all these lifestyle choices, which can change the dynamics of your health and prevent you from taking that step. Chronic kidney disease. I just talked about chronic disease to a group of um, elites and professionals. And, we're talking about how chronic kidney disease is a waster. How you could have a full pocket, no matter how rich you are, so far as you have to go through dialysis day in, day out, is going to drain your funds, except to get a kidney transplant. How about coronary artery disease, pre-diabetes, diabetes, osteoarthritis, dyslipidemia? That refers to high cholesterol levels or an imbalance in your good cholesterol and high cholesterol. Sleep disorders, there are so many of them. Some of us don't pay attention to our sleep. Our mental health, obesity, all these are chronic illnesses that many of us encounter day in, day out. But it's very important for me to note here that the root cause of disease has to do with our behavior. And you can see this tree, you can see the roots. What do the roots signify? They signify our behavior and what we're exposed to. We're exposed to a lot of stressful situations, poor diets, toxins, maybe from food or from alcohol or from other street drugs, lack of sleep, poor relationships, deficiency in nutrients due to poor diet, sedentary lifestyles, or what we call lack of exercise, toxic thoughts, the way we think about ourselves, our self-esteem, trauma. Some people have been engaged in and something that traumatized them, maybe a life event, maybe they lost a loved one, they lost their jobs, um, they had to relocate. Traumatic experiences also form the root cause of disease. Sometimes it's genetics, maybe because my father or my mother has high blood pressure or high blood sugar. So there's a higher tendency for me to also have that disease. So these are the root causes of disease. And what do? They promote inflammation, they reduce our immunity. There are certain killer cells that the body produces within the bone marrow that are supposed to, carry out the task of fighting these diseases that we can see at the top here. But when our immunity is poor, then they are not able to carry out that function and inflammation ensues. So now let's talk about lifestyle. Your lifestyle has to do with a set of habits and customs that is influenced by the lifelong process of socialization, which has important implications for your health. So we do these things day in, day out. Eating is part of our lifestyle. You can't go for an event and not eat. If you don't eat, people will be looking at you in a funny way. Or you go to visit a family friend and they serve you. you'll be like, oh, can I eat this? So it really has to do with our custom. If the food is not there, I remember that even in scripture, Jesus went for a wedding, and the wine was bad. It tasted. Oh no, not that it was bad. They ran out of wine, and in order to rescue the situation, they had to call on Jesus, and he changed water into wine. And I'm sure that wine was not alcoholic. For some of us who might be asking me questions about alcohol later. All right. So these customs include our dietary habits, our physical activity levels, the social use of substances, our social interactions. All these things are important for our health. And these are lifestyle medicine pillars, which I've highlighted here. We have the pillar of nutrition, the pillar of exercise, substance abuse, healthy relationships, stress, and sleep. And I'm going to touch on them one after the other, and we'll see how they have implications for our health. Now, we're talking about taking charge of our health. There are two crucial things that we need to do in order to take charge of our health. One of them is to modify our lifestyle in such a way that we're able to promote health and wellness. And that means we're going to embrace these lifestyle pillars and use them to our advantage. And the other thing is regular checks. And I'm sure this is something that Philips HMO also promotes. And many of our organizations who are under these HMOs are companies, our organizations. We need to promote regular checkups for our employees and for our patients, because many people don't know that they have a problem until they check. As they say, even hypertension, they say, they show for face. There are many of these things, you won't see it on the face until you get a cuff around your arm, until you get a blood test, until you get a scan, a prostate scan, for example, or you do a mammogram of the breast. You won't know that there's something lurking there. But the earlier you detect it, the better. So we're going to be touching on these things and see how they can actually affect our health. First of all, let's talk about our nutrition. This is an area that touches, when I say touches, when you talk about what is in your plate, a lot of people, they don't want to hear it. Oh, let me enjoy myself. Somebody said something that last is something will kill somebody, Abby. All right, but it shouldn't be your diet. So what we recommend, in order to promote a healthy lifestyle and for your immunity to be optimal, is a predominantly plant-based diet. And don't be scared. Don't think that we're telling you to go and eat grass or something, that is different, totally different from what you've been eating before. No, all we are promoting is food that grows principally from the ground. So, and we're talking about from farm to the table, from your garden to your table. So we're trying to see how we can reduce the processing in between our food coming to us from the farm to our table. And we're even trying to say, plant your foods now, because people are talking about GMO products, genetically modified foods, and how it can affect us. And a lot of people are worried about their fruits and vegetables, but you can plant them. A professor planted yam in his garden and it grew. So these are things that we can do. And when your food is predominantly plant-based, then the fiber content will be high, because many of the processing that we do strips off the fiber. And the fiber is where the nutrients are, just under, that the back cover of those grains and those tubers and the legumes. That's where you have your nutrients. And then we also promote the healthy food plates, in which half of your plate should be principally vegetables, and then quarter of it is your carb, and then another quarter is your protein. In this way, you get less of the calories that will not really do you any good, and you get more of the nutrients, which will help you to fight disease and um, fight infections. So as much as possible, we do say avoid all these processed foods and drinks. There are so many of them out there, all your junk food, your shawarma, your flour-based products, your burgers, all the things that come in a bottle, all those fizzy drinks, all those juices, all of them, they have a lot of added sugars and preservatives. So they are not really the best for you. Even many of these seasonings that contain a lot of sodium, a lot of salt, a lot of other things that can increase your risk of heart disease and increase your blood pressure as well. How about red meat and processed meats? Studies have shown that the consumption of red meat, which is anything that comes from an animal, whether it is a cow, whether it is a goat, whether it's a pig, it's red meat. Of course, some people talk about goat meat. Goat meat is leaner than cow meat, but it is still red meat. And red meat increases your risk of ischemic heart disease, increases your risk of hypertension and type 2 diabetes and some cancers as well. So this is just to really help you to reflect on what you are doing right now and ask yourself or come to your doctor and say, do I need to make a lifestyle change? Still talking about sodium, we have a lot of cubes, now in the market. You have to be careful with those cubes. And in case you are not using so many of the cubes and you're taking a lot of fast foods, you take a lot of smoked meat and fish, usually they use sodium or salt to preserve them. Even your local iru or local beans, we're not saying don't take it, but you need to clean it thoroughly or wash it before using it. And don't use the water because they usually preserve it with salt. So, or if you're going to put the water with it, that means you're not going to put salt in that food or you're not going to use cubes again. So we just want to decrease the total consumption of sodium, which can come from many other things. All those condiments like mayonnaise, ketchup, barbecue sauces, all our chips, Pringles, all these things contain a lot of sodium. So we would advise that you aim for less than or about a level teaspoon a day, of salt in order to reduce your consumption of sodium. Then we also talk about whole foods. I think I touched on this briefly that we want to take whole grains. That means you want to make your pap. You're not throwing away the shaft and sieving it out and throwing it to the goat because they're actually more healthy than you are because they're eating the good stuff, right? Okay, so principally, your meals should be whole grain, only processed to a level where you need to be able to consume it because if you don't do some processing in your kitchen at home, you might not be able to eat it. But so far as you're able to process it minimally, then it's good for you. Then we want you to avoid or reduce processed swallow, especially the semo. A lot of people love semo and a lot of poundo things. So it has gone through a lot of processing. If you do it locally, at home, you make your fufu yourself, you make your pounded yam yourself, you are still better off than what goes on the shelves and stays there for 3 months before it gets into your kitchen. Then we encourage the consumption of nuts and seeds. They contain a lot of antioxidants, just like fruits and vegetables, and also help to fight infection. How about physical activity? It's one of the pillars that we promote. So if you sit down most of your day at work, in school, wherever you go, you find yourself always sitting, then it means that you have a sedentary lifestyle. So if you can move even just 30 minutes or every 30 minutes, you're going to increase your lifespan by at least 3 times compared to people who don't move at all. Because inadequate physical activity or a sedentary lifestyle has been pointed out to be the fourth risk factor, leading risk factor for premature death, all over the world. So you want to make exercise fun. It shouldn't be boring. It shouldn't be, oh, my doctor said I should exercise. Oh, let me just try. Oh, I'm tired. But one thing I've discovered is that it's when you are tired, if you go for a walk, you're going to have a boost in your energy levels. You're going to find yourself feeling happy, and excited and more productive. So the they usually say the reward for hard work is more work. I want to say that the reward for being tired is exercise because when you exercise, even when you spend your whole day in the office, you come home, you feel like dragging your feet, take a brief walk, a brief brisk walk. You'll find yourself feeling better. Make sure you wear the appropriate footwear. Stay hydrated. Be regular. Don't do it today and then want to do it in 1 week time. You're going to have a lot of pain because your body will not be used to doing it. Aim for the guidelines by WHO, which is 150 minutes minimum in a week, which you can spread to 30 minutes on 5 days of a week for people who are between the ages of 18 and 65 years. If your children are less than 18, at least between 5 and 18, they should actually move more. At least an average of 60 minutes intentional, physical activity during the day, aside from, moving as often as possible. So this will reduce your risk of type 2 diabetes, especially it will reduce your risk of cancers. It will improve your blood pressure control. It will improve your sleep as well. There's so much I could say, but I will just leave it to that because we have a limited time. How about your sleep health? This is one of the reasons why I wrote the Ultimate Sleep Coaching Guide, because I discovered that people don't pay attention to their health. Someone once told me, a close friend of mine, she told me that sleep is for the weak. And she slept maybe 4 hours. But studies show us that sleep is linked to at least 700 genes within the human body. So if you don't sleep well, you are either going to downstep those genes or upstep them. So there are the good genes that you can upstep, and there are also the bad genes, maybe that are gotten from a family history that you can upstep, if you don't sleep well. So studies have shown us that people who are chronically sleep deprived, they sleep less than 6 hours every night, they are more likely to develop heart disease, to have heart attacks, to be obese, to develop type 2 diabetes, and to develop breast cancer and colon cancer and even some leukemias. And you just find yourself having a cold every now and then. So if you had not slept well in the 2 weeks before you were exposed to a cold virus, by the time you're exposed to that virus, you are going to find it very difficult, to cope. Blocked nostrils, sneezing back and forth, cough, and all that. It will always be your companion. So we actually encourage you to sleep an average of 7 hours. You can take it to 8 hours as well every night. For people that are younger than 18 years, they might actually need up to 9 hours. And people who are more than 65 years may need up to 9 hours. And you find out that people, once they're like 80, 90, they're actually sleeping most of the day because they're reverting back to how they were as children. Stress management is also an important lifestyle pillar. Chronic stress leads to poor sleep. If you are stressed, you find out that when you lie on your bed at night, you might find it difficult to sleep. I've had a lot of patients tell me that. Some people think that when they run around all day and they just go to lie on the bed, that they will fall asleep. Yes, you might fall asleep initially, but that sleep might not be high quality and you might have an awakening. And once you awaken more than once or twice at night, either to use the bathroom or do anything else, it's going to interrupt the quality of your sleep because it's more about continuity and quality rather than just the duration. So you want to wind down before you sleep, wind down on stress, because if you don't manage your stress levels, your immunity will drop, um, and it can cause all the other problems that poor nutrition and lack of exercise can cause. And of course, stress is inevitable. It's always there due to the factors within the economy, factors that have to do with family, friends. Some are avoidable, some are not. Some of us compete unhealthily for things. You can't afford to have something right now and you just must have it. So those are some of the things that give us mental stress. But we need to learn mindfulness-based techniques. And some of these things include meditation. Learn how to meditate. What are the things that give you joy? What are the things that make you happy? What is that verse or scripture or song or poem or quote that when you hear it or you listen to it, it gives you hope, it gives you reassurance despite what is going on around you? These are the things that can help you to manage your stress. You need to learn deep breathing in and out, deep breathing. It can help to stop those palpitations, your heart beating fast, those sudden anxiety symptoms that crop up when something happens. You can control it. You can be in charge. Spend time in nature, looking at the sky, the blue skies, the natural green grass, flowers. Make sure you have a patch of green somewhere in your backyard or at home. Studies have shown that the more green you have, the more likely you will live, the more your longevity you're more likely to live longer than someone that has only cement and wall around them. Learn how to organize yourself, learn to journal, and plan ahead. Stress can also come from poor relationships. We've heard of people who were battered and bruised and eventually lost their lives just because of domestic abuse. You don't want to stay in that kind of situation. You want to cry for help as soon as possible. Poor connectedness of relationships is linked to inflammation, is linked to suicide, mental health challenges. It increases your risk of cardiovascular problems like hypertension and diabetes. It makes you age faster. And then if you get separated, divorced, it actually increases the risk of heart attacks. But that's where you need to you need to pay attention now to your relationships, because people drift away from each other because they're not giving themselves the kind of attention they were when they got married or when they got into that relationship. And so they don't make sacrifices anymore. They don't honor the other person anymore. So when those things go wrong, then at the end of the day, the relationship suffers. So work-related anxiety is also a thing that can increase the risk of heart disease and mental stress. So you want to learn how to manage your boss. You want to learn how to manage your colleagues. Be careful when watching football. Studies have shown that heart attacks actually doubled in a German city during World Cup. So even though you're going to get anxiety while watching football, please stay away from it. Oh, all right, that's an aside. Then for stress reduction, love more, love more. Learn to spend time with your loved ones. Don't be together in the same room and everyone is on the iPad or the phone, or just engaged in another world, whereas you're together. Avoid isolation, spend time with loved ones, practice kindness, be someone who offers, who gives without expecting something in return. Learn something new. You can learn something new if you're part of an association, you're part of a community, your CDA, you're part of the association of your professional association, you go for a conference. All these things can reduce your stress. And learn how to forgive. In fact, I wish I had time. Maybe I'll quickly just talk about this woman who came to the hospital. She had a problem with her back. And so she was seen actually in the orthopedic hospital in the state where I work. And she was seen by a senior friend of mine. And while she was about to, she had to do, was it a CT scan or an MRI? Yes. So before she entered the machine, she was so distraught. She was like, she wasn't okay. She wasn't fine. She was so anxious. Maybe for her, it felt like something might happen and she might die. So the physiotherapist who was attending to her was asking her, Mama, so what's the problem? What's going on? She just tried to, speak to her and calm her. And then I think somewhere along the line, the woman now said, actually, it's about my daughter-in-law, and started saying some things about her daughter-in-law. She wasn't happy with the relationship. So she just told her, just tell her, talk to her, you know, Emma Benusiwa, don't be angry with her. Just explain to her and talk to her and resolve it. She didn't know the details, but this woman, she saw her a few weeks later and she could not believe. In fact, she didn't recognize that it was the same woman because this woman was walking, bending over. But by the time she saw her, she was walking straight. So she was trying to reconcile. But this woman, she was humped over. What happened? She was beaming with smiles. She was happy. And she came with that daughter-in-law that she had, a concern with. So she had forgiven. She had let go. She had expressed herself. They had sorted issues out. And that's one thing you might need to go back and just make up with someone and forgive them, let go of whatever grudge or bitterness. You discover that your blood pressure will go down and you sleep better and you'll be healthier. How about substances? Substances is something that a lot of people are turning to now because of the situation in the country. They are not happy, and so they feel, oh, I need to take something to make myself feel happy, and they turn to alcohol. I was saying earlier that yes, Jesus turned water into wine, but that doesn't mean he gave them alcohol to drink. So what does alcohol do to your body? It does a lot. You can see this man clutching the right side of his abdomen. That's where the liver is. So I've seen a lot of people within the past 6 months, with chronic liver disease. Chronic liver disease can distort the architecture of the liver. And once your liver fails, I'm not sure you can't transplant your liver. They can transplant the kidney, but you can't even transplant your liver. So you want to avoid alcohol because alcohol can cause alcoholic liver disease. There are some people who will say, I don't take alcohol every day. I only take it once a week. And when they take it that once a week, it's a binge thing because they are sitting with friends and they buy it for everybody. And so they take like 2, 3 bottles. They're even worse off than the person that takes, one bottle and they spread it throughout the week. Now, people used to say that alcohol or red wine is good for the heart, a little of it. But now we have enough evidence to show that there are really no safe levels, for alcohol consumption. So even if you think it's going to protect your heart, studies now say that if you were not taking alcohol before, don't start taking it because you think it's going to protect your heart. It's better to stay away from it. And for people who are taking it, they want them to reduce their intake as much as possible. And depending on what your health status is, there are some people that have to stop. Alcohol and diabetes don't go together. Alcohol raises your risk of hypertension and ischemic heart disease. And then what people don't also understand is that alcohol can affect the brain. So they compared the brains of two people, someone who takes alcohol and someone that doesn't take alcohol. And they discovered that the brain was more shrunken in the person consuming alcohol. And such people are more prone to dementia. So we're getting people with dementia very early, 60 years, they're already having dementia, which is cognitive decline, which can lead to loss of memory, even loss of recognition if Alzheimer's disease comes up. Of course, cigarettes are a no-go area. Studies have shown that cigarette smoking is the #1 preventable cause of death in the US because they smoke so much over there. So when people stop smoking, it's not only going to help them, it's going to help their family members and people around them because those people would have been smoking passively too. And they're also prone to lung cancer and other health-related problems. Of course, weight management is key. I don't have so much time to talk about the middle age spread, but the middle age spread is the spread around the middle of your body between the chest or the thorax and your upper thigh. And usually when people are within their middle age, between ages 45 to 65, they tend to see that bulge, Some people call it an extra tire. And it's because of our lifestyle. It's because we eat more than our body is able to metabolize, because metabolism slows down with age, and then people eat more and they don't move enough. So weight management is very key. There's something I want to emphasize here is that people with normal body weight but belly fat have an increased risk of heart disease than people without belly fat, even if they're obese. So there are some people, they're obese, but most of the fat that they're having is not around the middle, is maybe at their hips, and maybe some of them have a lot of muscle as well. Of course, the thing is that the more muscle you have, the less fat you have. So belly fat, even in the absence of overweight and obesity, can still increase your risk of heart disease. So it means that this message is not only for people who are overweight, it's even for people who have normal weight. And aside from that, they are twice likely to have a heart attack. People who are obese this time around are twice likely to have a heart attack and to have procedures that open up the coronary arteries or to die from heart problems during follow-up. This second one is for people that are obese. So just to encourage us that our weight management is key. I'll be rounding up shortly, and this lifestyle practice just shows the impact on your blood pressure. So for many of us, what we're contending with is really high blood pressure. Yes, your doctor will give you medication, but there are activities that you can carry out regularly that can actually reduce your blood pressure. So you can see this aerobic exercise. Aerobic means that the exercise um, you're involved in enables and the flow of more blood around your system and the consumption of oxygen within your system. And the minimum we advise is brisk walking, which is walking fast as if you're late for an appointment. That's what we call moderate intensity exercise. We also have swimming, we have playing ball games, maybe football, tennis, we have dancing, we have skipping. This can reduce your systolic blood pressure by between 4 to 9 millimeters of mercury. Is that not amazing? Then restricting your sodium to about a teaspoon a day can reduce your systolic BP by 2 to 8 millimeters of mercury. The dietary approach to stopping hypertension diet, which means you're taking more of fruits and vegetables, which contain calcium, potassium, magnesium, and less of fat, reduces your systolic blood pressure by 8 to 14 millimeters of mercury. And then if you're able to lose up to 10 kg of your weight, you can actually reduce your systolic blood pressure by between 5 to 20 millimeters of mercury. And that's why if you engage in lifestyle changes, your doctor at some point will want to look at your prescriptions, and taper down your BP medicine, even your cholesterol medicine, your diabetes medicine. They want to tail it down because these lifestyle practices have a dose therapeutic effect, on those indices. So rounding up, these are some tips for taking care of your health or taking charge of your health. Number one, encourage time off. If you are an employee of labor, make sure that you have your time off, go on your leave. Encourage your employees not to buy their leave or sell it or to go on vacation. Make sure that you get up every now and then. Sometimes I go around and tell my registrars, you're moving too long. You go and call the patient yourself. Move as often as possible. It's reduce your risk of arthritis and back pain and other lifestyle related diseases. Have annual checkups. Check your numbers. We've mentioned those numbers today. At least have an annual checkup. And there are some other checks that you're supposed to do maybe once in 3 years, some once in 2 years. Your physician, would guide you in doing these checks. Avoid self-medication. Have a wellness plan. So at the beginning of every year, you can do a budget and say that this is how much I'm spending on my health this year. On my birthday, I'm going to do my wellness check and my comprehensive test to find out where I am and what I need to do. So budget for your health, really, and be intentional about your wellness. You can plan for your meals, have a menu table, decide to buy fruits when you're going home every day rather than buying junk or buying soft drinks. Buy fruits intentionally for your family. Work smart and not long. So if the meeting is irrelevant, it's not helping you, you don't have to be there. Know your job description. Do things that you can do that will improve your productivity at your job. And then know what your goals are so that you don't overstay your welcome. Find your passion. Your passion will determine the next step to take, and try and collaborate with people. This has to do with organizing your time effectively. Optimize your focus. Connect with yourself. Me time. Self-care. Avoid those social distractions of scrolling mindlessly through social media. Spend time meditating. We've already talked about meditating. I talked about breathing exercises, optimum nutrition, sleep, of course, is important. And then gratitude. Find every reason to be grateful for what you have, for your family, for your friends, for your community, what God has done for you. Focus on it, because sometimes people take their minds off the good things and they are thinking about the naira, the dollar, the economy, and all they see is the bad news on TV, on CNN, on channels. What is happening again? Why are we like this in this country? Why is the pump fuel price going up again? And that's where your mind is. But if you talk to yourself positively and reframe negative thoughts and tell yourself, see, in this economy, I'm making it. I'm not just going to survive, I'm going to thrive. I'm going to be ahead, because there are people that are ahead. So you tell yourself what you are going to become and believe God for that. It's going to reduce your mental stress. It's going to reduce your risk of anxiety, depression, and all other things that would weigh you down and prevent you from fulfilling your purpose. Of course, spirituality is key. In conclusion, why is our health so important? It will help to boost your quality of life. That would in turn help your productivity so that you go to work and you're efficient, you're effective, and you're even going to attract a promotion or a reward. You're not doing it because of that, but because you're productive, you can't hide. People will know that this person knows her onions and she's doing her work well. It will help you to be resilient. And that's why during COVID-19, most of the people that succumbed to COVID-19 were people that had hypertension and all these chronic diseases, type 2 diabetes, people that were overweight. They were more likely to have severe illness, COVID illness, compared to people who had been engaging in healthy lifestyle practices. It will prolong your life and it will help you with financial security because you won't be overburdened by these exorbitant bills that come from having one intervention or the other. You'll be able to use your HMO package judiciously rather than having to get a code for those exorbitant or costly interventions or procedures. It will help your self-esteem, your personal growth, and also your connections with members of your family. Let me conclude with the blue zones. The blue zones are 5 geographical locations where people live the longest. They were studied, in certain parts of the world, and there were 9 common characteristics that were attributable to them living long. And I'm sure we might have places like this in Africa as well that needs to be studied. But what was very, very important was that they took charge of their health. And how did they do that? They moved naturally. So they were more likely to use their legs rather than to drive. They spent time relaxing with members of their family. They did a downshift, which is moving from a highly stressful job to something that is less stressful, even though it pays less. I'm sure we don't want to hear that. They had a sense of purpose. They had the right tribe to engage with, that's community wise. They had this sense of belonging to something greater, which I believe is God. And then they ate a mostly plant based diet, which is a diet as opposed to having a lot of red meat or meat generally in your food. Then they stopped eating once they were 80% full, and then they put family first. Those are the blue zones. And you can see them here: La Molinda in California, Nicoya in Costa Rica, Sardinia in Italy, Ikaria in Greece, and Okinawa in Japan. If you go online, you see a documentary on the blue zones, how they visited each of those zones. I'm hoping they come to Nigeria soon or Africa to come and study where we have people living long as well. So thank you very much for your questions, and I hope to take our questions at this time. Over.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. I think that's the term that I can use to qualify the delivery and the content of today's webinar. If you agree with me, please just go to your reactions and let's give Dr. Moyosare Makinde a round of applause. She truly, truly deserves it. Thank you so much, Dr. Makinde.
My pleasure.
All right. Okay, so very quickly, we'll be moving to the questions. We've had a number of questions already in the chat room. And we'll also have some contributions from some of the people in the audience, in the virtual audience. So I'll go straight to the Q&A box and read out a few of the questions there. Okay, first question: how much of screen time is advisable daily? If you still have questions, you need to put them in the box now. Once I'm done with this round, we'll go straight to comments and contributions. How much of screen time is advisable daily in all devices? across devices, phone, computer, television, you name it. Dr. Makinde.
All right. Thank you so much for that question. It's an interesting question. And really, I might not be able to tell you for devices. However, I can give you some tips. Now, studies have shown that if you spend more than 2 hours, on watching TV in a day, you're likely to be sedentary. So I do know of studies that have been done around devices such as phones and all that, but you know that we hold our phones a lot. Many of us, our phones are like a workplace. Some people, all their work is on their phone. They work virtually. So I'm not going to come and tell them, oh, you cannot work virtually because you have to spend only 4 hours on your phone. No, I won't give that kind of recommendation. Rather, I would say plan your time, and avoid your devices within 1 to 2 hours of bedtime as much as possible. I've discovered that when you are so much with your devices before bedtime, it robs you of quality sleep. So if you know you have a problem with your sleep, then your phone should be outside of your room at night. Especially when it tempts you to engage in all those conversations that can really be disturbing and all. Same thing for the TV. You want to avoid it at least latest 1 hour before bedtime. You want to go off, TV. But if you are spending up to 2 hours on the TV every day, then you're likely to be sedentary.
Okay.
Some other people will say if you sit down for up to 8 hours in a day, or maybe 6 hours, you're sedentary. But that's one way to gauge it. TV time, 2 hours, then you're likely to be sedentary.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Makinde, for that. I hope this has answered that person's question. Second question, with the level of pollution in Nigeria, speaking to carbon emissions, what can we do to protect ourselves and our health? Okay, that's the second question, Dr. Makinde. Over to you.
Okay. Thank you so much. So for carbon emissions, it's going to be more about advocacy for um, some of those industries or the places where those carbon emissions are made to be outside of a residential setting. That's one. But remember that carbon emissions also come from cars. So one of the things that we might see in the nearest future will be that we'll be having electric cars. I know that it might not come right now, but in several countries, we actually have um, electric cars being used, because really without that, you can't say that you can switch away from being exposed to carbon emissions. In a country like China, I learned that even without COVID, they have to wear face masks everywhere because the environment is highly polluted. So if you are living in an area where the emissions are high, you might have to wear a face mask very often. But the important thing is that even in as much as you are protecting those fumes from entering your airway, you need to also maintain the healthy lifestyle choices that will not, which if you don't practice, can be the trigger for you developing the diseases associated with the consumption of those emissions. I hope that explains it.
Thank you. I'm sure it does. And as you were speaking, I remember having seen a picture, probably on one of the cable news network programs, where this water shot, and I saw a runner, probably somewhere in China or Japan where emissions are high, wearing a face mask and jogging. So the person was obviously trying to toe the line, the balance, to ensure that he got good exercise, and at the same time he was protecting himself from the worst of the pollution that is in the environment. Okay, so the next question is, I recently heard that MSG, monosodium glutamate, I suppose, seasonings have less sodium than salt and other seasonings. How true is this? Is it advisable to consume MSG instead of other bouillon cubes? Thank you.
Oh yes. So I think I listened to that video too. And when I listened to that video, I was like, oh my goodness gracious. A lot of people, millions of people are going to listen to this and swallow it. Unfortunately, that information was not right. It wasn't right. Because monosodium glutamate is not only about the sodium, but about the chemical formulation itself. You understand? So it's not only that it contains sodium, but the fact that it is monosodium glutamate, it has harmful effects on reproduction. It can affect the liver. It can affect the heart. It can affect the brain. So it's not just about um, the amount of sodium. Yes, the sodium in it might not be much, but we're not really all about the sodium, but about that component itself. The whole thing in itself has been associated with many of these other problems. So it's better for you to even use your salt. You understand? Use salt minimally and then flavor your food with natural ingredients. You can use ginger, you can use turmeric, you can use rosemary, thyme, um, oregano. There's so many things. Cinnamon, you can use them to flavor your food and it will still taste very well. We even have this mushroom powder, that can be used, to flavor your food, and you have minimal salt and no Maggi or no cubes or no monosodium glutamate at all.
Thank you, Dr. Makinde. Okay, there are two more questions, and I'll read them together so that you can answer them in one go. How do you create a balance in ensuring adequate physical activity? That's the first. And then the second is, can you please further expatiate on health versus wellness? Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. So to have a balance in physical activity, there are two main things that we need to be aware of. One is the exercise, which is recurring regular activity. That means you are doing it with the intention of being fit. So that's one area which is important for us. That's where we talk about the 300 or minimum of 150 minutes of exercise, in a week. And of course, before you start out on any exercise, make sure your doctor has cleared you. If you need to do an ECG, you need to do a chest x-ray, you need to do your kidney function, make sure you are clear and fit to exercise, because we have people who will just go and exercise. They've not had a proper health check, and then they collapse while playing tennis or playing football and die just like that. So it's important that you have a baseline check before you start exercising, and then you still do your wellness checks, on a yearly basis. And then apart from that, because you could do your 30 minutes of exercise, in a day, and then the rest of the day, the remaining 24 or 23 hours, 30 minutes, you're either lying down, to sleep, or sitting down. That more or less nullifies, whatever exercise you have done, because you will slow down your system more. Your body will not burn calories. Your body will not be as active. You'll be more prone to arthritis and many other problems. So the balance is that give enough time for your physical activity, which is regular, and then during the course of your day, while you are awake, move at the top of every hour. That's why I tell people, at the top of every hour. For people that have arthritis, I say move every 30 minutes, because when you stay in a position for more than 30 minutes, you are more likely to have pain and stiffness by the time you want to change out of that position. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you.
The last one,
Okay,
which
go
is
ahead, please. Yes.
health and wellness. The
Yes.
major difference between health and wellness is that Wellness means that you're making a deliberate effort to be healthy. So they are the same, except that wellness connotes that you are intentional about your health. Defining health just means you're healthy, but you don't get healthy automatically. There must be something that has gone into that ideal, of being healthy.
Right. I'm so sorry. We found two questions on YouTube. Our attendees via YouTube. So I'm going to quickly read that. The first is, can regular exercise cause joint pain? Can regular
So
exercise cause joint pain?
so when you
Okay.
exercise, there are different types of exercise. We have the aerobic exercise, we have muscle strengthening exercises, we have resistance training, we have flexibility exercises. So the aim of each of these exercises, they vary. There are some that are supposed to help with your cardiovascular fitness. There are some that are supposed to strengthen your muscles. There are some that are supposed to help your balance. So we are supposed to actually have a little bit of each of those forms of exercise. We can't really talk about everything in this kind of meeting, but if we're to give a lecture on exercise, we can spend 1 hour talking about exercise. However, if you start exercising, your body is going to feel that stretch. Your body will feel the stretch, and you could have some pain, as a result of that stretch. However, there are some exercises that are high impact, which we usually tell our patients, don't start doing that exercise if you had not been doing this in the first 40 years of your life. For example, now, skipping or running or jogging, if you had not done that in the first 40 years of your life and you're 50 now, or even 45, and you want to exercise, don't go and start jogging or skipping. You're going to hurt your joints and you end up in the office of the orthopedic surgeon, because they're high impact and they increase the friction between the two joints, especially for someone who had not been doing it before. So yes, it can lead to joint pains in that regard. And then if you do an exercise, it stretches the muscles, the ligaments, and all that, and you are not doing it recurrently, you leave it and you revisit the exercise in another 3 or 4 days or 1 week, then you are going to be having pain every time you exercise, because your body has not conditioned itself, to that level of activity. And so the kind of exercises that you do actually is important. Some of us just jump into the gym and you want to do everything there is to do in the gym, whereas you have not been doing it before. You have a lot of pain because your body is not used to or accustomed to it. So there are some of these things you need to ease into them gradually and build up gradually, even for your brisk walks. If you have not been walking before, start with 5 minutes. Do that every day for maybe a week, and then after a week you can increase to 7 minutes. After that, increase to 10 minutes. So ease yourself into that gradually, and don't try to do a lot of time, without training. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much. This is amazing. We'll answer the other questions in the chat box. Once again, thank you, Dr. Makinde, for this wonderful delivery of this lecture. We have been really impacted by the content. And right away, we'll call up one of our very own to give a few comments. And I'm sure that he's going to speak a little to the content of your lecture. I'll be calling up the representative of the board. Uh, we call him Babs. Okay, so he's coming up right away. Thank you. we wait for Babs to come up, I will be reading out the names I wanted to reward. Phillips HMO is rewarding the first two joiners for today. Um, and if you hear your name, please know that I'll be meeting you in the DM to give you your prizes. So the first name is Oguntoye, Ridwan Olutoyin. Oguntoye, Ridwan Olutoyin. That's the first joiner. Okay, I think Babs is ready to come up now. I'll read the second name out after Babs' comments. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, sir, you're audible. Please go ahead. You have the floor.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought probably I was muted. Thank you so much, Dr. Makinde, for your presentation. And I quite appreciate that. Thank you for coming. And part of what you mentioned in terms of the pollution that we see in our environment, I think that the world body is actually paying attention to that. And even in the world today, in terms of various organizations, we have seen major companies taking some steps in project called sustainability, whereby they are looking at the business and the impact on the social, the environment, and also the governance. And I believe that that is actually driving and propelling many things that is being done in terms of having vehicles that are not using fuel, but using batteries and all that. And I believe that as time goes on, it's going to really come to Africa, because what is happening now is that those high-level organizations are not allowing their vendors who are not compliant with all those regulations to actually do business with them. So for any business that is trading internationally, it will come to a time that there has to be a compliance, that people are paying respect to what is happening in the society, in our environment, before they can actually do business. So this is going to happen, even though Africa may not feel the impact now. But for a future organization, every organization needs to pay attention to this, so that we can have a safe society that is actually aligning with the kind of health that we want to have. So I'm actually pleased. Thank you so much, Dr. Makinde. On the other note, I am actually pleased and excited by the specific progress and achievements made within the past 5 years at PHMO. From the regular webinars that they've been having to educate society, to honor, to also honoring of our business obligations to all our stakeholders. They've actually made significant strides in those areas. PHMO has not only pursued business profits, but also balanced sustainable development goals, which have impacted the social, the environmental, and also the governance, as it were. Through PHMO, true and sustainable wealth has been created to make our society actually a better place. PHMO is a brand that connects well with our stakeholders. You know, it's a brand that connects with customers, clients, providers, employees, and or even government as well, in terms of doing the right thing even in the society. All this will not have been possible without the company's concept. The concept the company has, concept of purpose from the beginning, to actually make impact and add value even to the society. I applaud the company's achievements in terms of the level and the extent of diversity and inclusion they've actually embraced over the past 5 years. The company is a place where the voices of stakeholders are actually heard. And we celebrate PHMO achievements. We also look forward with great anticipation to the success that the next 5 years will bring. Thank you so much, everyone, for being part of this webinar. Thank you. Over to you,
Thank
please.
you so much. Yes, thank you so much. That is Mr. Babatunde Fadahunsi, who is representing our board. Like I said, we call him Babs, and just as he has said, so it is. Okay, we'll be moving straight away now to the remarks from our chairman. And when I say our chairman, I refer to an excellent man. Okay, Philips HMO is the baby of the Philips Group, and the Philips Group is chaired by Folusho Phillips. We call him FOP. So you'll be hearing from him and you will understand why I say he's an excellent man. So FOP, very, very humbly, I say you have the floor, sir.
Thank you so much. Let me start by thanking Dr. Makinde for such a wonderful and highly embracing presentation, which I really enjoyed. And she really spoke to what is happening today in terms of health, lifestyle, wellness, things of that nature. And if I was going to summarize her message, it's like saying that prevention is better than cure. If you prevent the need to go to the hospital, prevent the need to be treated, prevent the need for medication, just purely by the way and manner in which you live your life, then you'll be saving yourself a lot, both in terms of cost and in terms of your life itself. So I really enjoyed it, and she covered all the bases. And so thank you so much for that. Health has become a major issue for everybody now, especially after COVID. I think COVID was a huge wake-up call for everybody, whereby it was said that this disease or this thing that plagued us just seemed to expose those things that were not right within the first place. If you were suffering from hypertension, you were managing it, and you ended up with COVID, it just seemed to accentuate it. It's like anything that was wrong with you, the job of COVID was to move it to a higher level. And so the person that was feeling good, the person that was fit and was living a good and well catered life, didn't suffer that much. Even when some analysis was being done about why the impact in Africa was not as much as in the Western world, they cracked a joke that, well, when people have to walk to work, when people are eating vegetables all the time because we like our F4, we like our, even the pounded yam, a balanced diet in a way actually helped us a lot. And obviously some didn't make it. But the key thing was that the way and manner in which you live is so important. So health is important, and there's an increasing sensitivity to it, probably amongst the higher level caliber of people in the country. But we're saying that this is something that we've got to make happen at all levels by just making it a way of life. And is that way of life that we want to try and stress, and one that Dr. Makinde has shown us how these things can be done. So I really congratulate her. And all the points you raised, I hope you all pay attention to it and try and make it the way and manner in which you live. It's about wellness in order to improve your health, things about exercise, about food, even mental health as well. Mental health is something that we've come to recognize and realize the impact that it has, and the fact that that too can be dealt with. And she touched on all these things. So well done as far as this webinar is concerned, and I really do congratulate her, and I hope you all still got good benefit from it. As far as Philips HMO is concerned, we really are proud. We are celebrating our 5th year in business, and I must share with you some of the things I used to say to Dr. Benebo, managing director. Uh, I said, look, what do we know about health? And he made it very clear that we asked you to facilitate access to health. So it's not like we are running a hospital or we are, uh, orthopedic surgeons or cardiologists. No, ours is to recognize the hospitals that are doing well, of which, if you all appreciate, the number of hospitals we have is increasing rapidly. And hospital and health seems to be the new thing. And we're happy for it. And certainly in Lagos, other parts of the country, there are more and more and more hospitals that are springing up. But the point is, how do we now get people to access this? So we are saying that, look, our job is to facilitate your ability to access great health, okay? And to make sure that the process is one that is affordable, both in terms of the arrangements that are made before you go to the hospital, the experience you have during your engagement in the hospital, and what happens afterwards. It's what we call in the firm itself, in the Philips HMO, the before, during, and after experience. And that's where we've sort of gotten a lot better with the technology that we are applying, with the understanding of what service means, the understanding of what quality means. All these things are things that are important. And that's why you find that no matter the kind of HMO you are, whether you're the big, big, big HMO or you're a very, very tiny HMO, the challenge is how efficient are you in giving access to healthcare through the service that you provide. So when you join the onboarding process, it's good, it's efficient, it's all digital. The experience you have when you're actually engaged with the hospital to ensure that you're getting your service, and even post experience as well. These are the value chains that we're paying attention to, and we're very, very proud of what we're doing. And that's why we're able to compete with the very, very large HMOs, because it's not about the fact that we are the doctors. It's the fact that we're very good at getting you to the doctor in an affordable way. And this is what we are selling. And this is the kind of thing that we're trying to get people to understand when you're working with Philips HMO, when we engage you, when we try and work with you and serve you. Appreciate the fact that we're as good as it comes. And I think that this is something that we will continue to stress. And that's what 5 years has done for us. Got a great team of people, young people, extremely dynamic, extremely focused, very, very impressed with what they're doing, living in your age, which is all the millennials and the people that understand what it means to deliver service and are demanding service. I think we're doing very well there. So I want to, at the same time, congratulate the team at Philips HMO, Dr. Benebo, and all the doctors and individuals there for such a great job that they're doing. Extremely proud, living true to the cause, true to the philosophy of the Philips Group, which is about quality, appreciating that the customer, the client, the patient is the most important person in the scheme of things, and we're totally committed to them. So we're saying that here I'm toasting another 5 years and hope that we'll continue to be strong in your presence and continue to be attractive to you and meet all your needs as we go along. So with that, once again, thanks, Dr. Makinde, for a great outing. And to everybody else that's organized this, thanks so much for what you've done. I think it's been a great one and I've really enjoyed it and looking forward to the next one as well. Thank you.
Thank you, FOP. Thank you for those succinct and very timeless words. We will take them very much to heart, and we thank you for celebrating PHMO, and we celebrate you too for your vision and for the direction in the years past. We will move very, very quickly now because our time is fast spent. We're going for a poll, a brief poll, 2 questions. I don't think we have more than 2 questions. So the poll comes up now. Kindly check the chat. Kindly check the chat room for the poll. The poll is now in the chat room. Thank you. Thank you. If you haven't answered the questions in the poll, please go to the chat box. The question is there and you can quickly answer it right away. Now we have another reward time. Philips HMO is big on rewards. So if you were listening very attentively to Dr. Makinde's lecture, this will be a piece of cake for you. So I'm going to give you 4 questions and it's fastest fingers first. Fastest fingers first. As soon as I ask the question, the first question, you just type number 1 and your answer. The same for number 2, your answer, number 3 and your answer, and number 4 and your answer. This is to save you time. That's just a cheat hack for you. Okay, so I'm going to start now, and whoever has the correct answer on Teams and on YouTube will get rewarded. In what year was health defined by the WHO? In what year was health defined by the WHO? That's question number 1. Question number 2. Name the 4 categories of non-communicable diseases. Name the 4 categories of non-communicable diseases. Question number 3. What kind of diet is advised for good health? What kind of diet is advised for good health? That is question number 3. Question number 4. How much exercise do we need to do every week for good health? Let me give you a clue. This can be in minutes, okay? How much exercise do we need to do every week for good health? And I'm going to throw in a bonus question. How many genes is sleep linked to in the human body? How many genes is sleep linked to in the human body? I hope these questions are not too difficult, because from where I'm sitting, I can't see any answers coming in. Let me go from the beginning again. Number 1, in what year was health defined by the WHO? Number 2, what are the 4 categories of chronic non-communicable diseases? Number 3, what kind of diet is advised for good health? Number 4, how much exercise do we need to do every week? And I said a clue is that it's in, and then final bonus question, how many genes is sleep my own Q&A? And to round up this webinar, I'll be calling in the man of the moment, the managing director of Philips HMO, in the person of Dr. Victor Benebo, for his closing remarks. And please don't go away. We're going to have a photo session as soon as his remarks are over. Thank you. MD, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Folu. And it's my pleasure to convey our sincere appreciation to all that have participated in this webinar. We are particularly grateful to the guest speaker, Dr. Makinde. We thank you for your time. We thank you for the contributions, powerful insights that you've shared to empower us to take charge of our health. Very interesting. And also want to thank you, all the participants who have joined from different spheres, both within the group and outside, customers, clients, providers, all stakeholders, and even those who are joining through YouTube. We are sincerely grateful to you for celebrating 5 years of redefining quality healthcare in Nigeria via PHMO. Now, the webinar topic, I think you all agree with me, for those who know Philip, is in keeping with Philip's HMO philosophy, which is empowering our subscribers and putting their health back into their hands. So we are making a difference in the health space by keeping people healthy through health promotion, through wellness. And I'm glad that Dr. Makinde was able to clearly elucidate difference between wellness, which has to do with the intentionality with which that is being done to keep yourself healthy. So we do that. We do health screenings, which we even did today as part of our anniversary, to just make sure that people are not neglecting their health. And of course, where people fall ill, we ensure that they get the right treatment in the right setting and given by the right person. Obviously, we've done quite a lot in Philip, which, as we mentioned, we have digitalized our processes, operational efficiency, so that we can give our customers a delightsome experience. We're also effectively managing the whole value chain and the stakeholders in there to just make sure that everybody's taken care of. And that was emphasized by the chairman as well. We have our healthcare providers, partners, strategically working with us, both locally and internationally, to ensure that the end service is delivered to our very valued customers. We also want to say that we're expanding those frontiers, the network across the country to have that adequate presence and to make it very robust. So, of course, we're also churning out new products in response to the market dynamics. Finally, we want to say a very big thank you to a very amiable and able chairman in the person of Olusho Phillips. We call him FOP. Thank you, sir, so much for your availability and support, and all the board members, Mr. Botner Fadaonsi, which we also call Babs, and other board members present on this call. We are so grateful for the support we've always gotten from you, the leadership. We say that we're not taking them for granted. Thank you. We thank every member of the Philip family, a very wonderful family, the team members, very, very wonderful and special. I'm proud of them every day. And I want to say that with all of these people working together, we can assure you that we'll move to make sure that Philip HMO becomes a household name and deliver that quality of service that our enrollees deserve. Thank you once again for the success of this webinar, and we want you to enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you once again. We look forward to the webinars, and I'm sure you'll be joining us again. Thank you.
Thank you, MD. Thank you so much. Thank you for those closing remarks. And we have gotten our winners, the winners of the giveaway, the questions. And somebody will be reading them out soon. But invite somebody to put on their videos. Please put on your videos, put on your cameras. We want to see you. We want to take pictures with you. So it's time for a photo shoot. Put on your videos, put on your cameras. We have winners already. Proceeds. Right. So everybody. Okay, great. Put on your videos. So IT, I hope you're taking pictures now. You can see, wow, I can see all the beautiful faces. Yes, thank you so much. This is amazing. So I'm going to read out the winners Mercy, the winner for the first question is Mercy Ekele. I hope I have the name correctly. So she answered, in what year was health defined by WHO? And that was 1948. Chiamaka Emmanuel is a double winner, having answered questions 2 and 3. The the groups of illnesses, the main groups of illnesses as defined by non-communicable diseases. The first is the cardiovascular diseases, the diabetes mellitus, chronic respiratory diseases, and cancer. And then he or she also answered what kind of diet is advised for good health, and that is plant-based diet. Lots of people were saying a balanced diet, but she actually was specific about plant-based diets. How many minutes or hours of exercise do we need to do every week? So our speaker said we need 150 to 300 minutes of exercise every week. And how many genes is sleep linked to in the human body? 700. 700. So IT, I'm sure you're done with the pictures. Can we take it that
No,
IT is done with the
no,
pictures?
quite some people,
Yes, sir.
cameras are not on.
Uh-oh. Okay, everyone, please put on your cameras. We want to see the lovely faces and put it down for posterity. So you'll be able to say, I was there on Philips HMO's 5th year anniversary webinar. So everybody say what? Philips? Say Philips, and then put a smile on your face. Thank you. Chiamaka, I love your smile. You're a winner. A double winner, for that matter. Okay. Thank you. Did I announce Dari? Dari also gave the last 2 answers. Okay, about exercise, genes, sleep is linked with. So we're going to see them in their inboxes. So please, they shouldn't leave yet. So once again, thank you. The webinar has come to an end. See you sometime soon. Definitely next year
Before we
around this
leave,
time. But
can IT take the picture again? A lot of our cameras are still not on. Can we all put on our cameras, please? Thank you. Abisola, see some cameras not on. Just turn on your camera for the group photo, please. Thank you.
All cameras can be used.
So are we good to go?
Yes, please.
Yes.
okay, thank you. So our winners, please we'll need your phone numbers. The phone numbers of our winners: Mercy Ekele, Chiamaka Emmanuel, and Dari. So kindly send your phone numbers in, probably put it in the chat box, and I'll pick it up from there. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
All right, thank you, everyone. Bye. Once again, happy anniversary. Bye-bye.
you.